quorum, so we can run the meeting. First thing is the approval of the minutes from February 4th. Anybody have any changes, anything to say about that? We got those also.
Motion
All
to
right,
approve
Move to
minutes.
approve.
Support.
Moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. First on the agenda, Mr. Hessler. Mesler, I'm sorry. Right, we're gonna list the update on what's being done, what road, winter damage, et cetera. So, come to the podium. I think it's being recorded, so we need to hear that. And
Currently, we have Berners Estates, the SAD project. Right now, it's out for bid. The bids are due March 3rd. So we have, last I checked this morning, there was 4 or 5 bidders that have pulled plan holders at this point. So we're hopeful that we have a few more. And then we'll see where we're at with how the bids come in and moving forward with Berners Estates. So Bloomfield Village Green, we're moving forward with that. The road commission is currently in the design process, preparing the final plans for the bid letting. Actually, the final plans are to go on the shelf March 10th. And then I want to say, I think it's April, beginning of April is the actual bid letting for that. So we're hopeful that that stays on track at this point. I know there's quite a bit of profiles that need to be done from the road commission's consultant and et cetera, et cetera. I haven't seen the plans nor the proposal book yet to review it. So hopeful to get that at least a week ahead of the plans going on the shelf. So that's where that stands at this point. I know there has been some contractors that have expressed interest in bidding that project. So they reached out and was inquiring as to when that bid letting was going to be. So hopefully this time around we have more than just Cadillac bidding Bloomfield Village Green. So that being said, obviously we're into the frost freeze effects here as of the last week. So sure that residents everywhere throughout the county, throughout the state are going to be noticing that the roads are definitely starting to frost freeze heave. I haven't noticed it yet in driving around, but I would suspect with the weather temperatures that we have that we're going to start seeing the frost come out from underneath the road. So, a good indication of that is, the roads are going to dry out here, and then all the cracks and stuff, you'll slowly see the water kind of migrating to the top and relieving itself. So if you're not familiar with the frost freeze cycles, happens is the road ends up freezing at whatever depth it does, and as it thaws during the course of the winter, it raises up when it freezes, and then it comes back down when it thaws. So that's what they talk about, a frost freeze cycle, is it comes up and it comes down, it comes up and it comes down. We haven't experienced a lot of those cycles this year like we have in past years because of the cold temperatures. I would expect going forward that we're probably going to see those cycles increase tremendously. So I know I looked at the long range, and at night we're getting down in 20s, but we're still up into the mid 30s, low 40s during the day. So I would expect that on the main roads, subdivision roads, culverts, everything's going to start reflecting that. And that's why asphalt roads crack, because sooner or later, even though asphalt is flexible and it takes numerous cycles, sooner or later something's got to give with all that movement. So I would expect that, like I said, phones will probably be ringing off of the hook probably here with concerns, and definitely over at the road commission with concerns in regards to the roads. So, with that being said, that's why I know there's a lot of residents through the course of the SAD projects. I guess I should give you a little background if you're not familiar with myself. I worked at the road commission for 35 years. For 20 of those years, I was actually overseeing the SAD projects throughout the county, designing them and overseeing the construction of them. I recently retired as of May 1st, and then came on board with Bloomfield Township as a consultant for for their SADs, so. That being said, I'm very familiar with the Bloomfield Village projects. I designed them all, so, I should say myself and my staff, so. The frost freeze effects, like I said, it comes up, it comes down, the roads are all over the place, so. It's kind of, if you have any questions in regards to that, I will say, kind of getting back to where I was, design-wise, that's why we design under drain. So with the Bloomfield Village projects, there was a lot of questions about, well, why do we have to dig that trench under the curb and put that edge drain in, and et cetera, et cetera. Whenever we have curb and gutter, we put edge drain in because when we construct the road, we actually construct the road in a subgrade, we put the crown in it. Then when we add aggregate to it, we duplicate that crown, and then the asphalt, the first lift of the asphalt duplicates that, and then the second lift and final lift of asphalt duplicates that. So the other thing is, a lot of people don't realize that HMA is actually permeable. Water will actually penetrate through asphalt. So when it does migrate down, even without a crack, or if the road does crack, it gets into the subgrades, and the subgrades are shaped to push that water over to the edge drain trench to keep the subgrades dry, which helps eliminate a tremendous amount of that frost freeze cycle because the moisture is not in those subgrades to allow it to do that. So kind of the reason that we do put the edge drain trench in. The other thing the edge drain trench does, as much as everybody loves their sprinkler systems, it's absolutely horrendous for the road bed, because then you're getting all that water coming from the outside of the road trying to push into the subgrades. The edge drain trench eliminates that. So it's the path of least resistance, and it collects all the water and then takes it into the storm systems and disperses it at that point.
I just want to, are you also involved in the other aspects of like the milling and overlay in certain areas of the, that road repair, that kind of road repair for the township? Or is it
No.
just the SADs?
Yeah, not currently.
Okay, got it, all right.
Yeah, my role currently is coming in. I will say that the township is looking at doing some of their own SADs in-house, which is something that we're kind of looking at this point. So we do have one project that we've somewhat designed, and looking forward to moving forward with that. We feel that there's probably some better options than just a full rehabilitation
That's what I was gonna ask.
system. So the road commission requires a full rehabilitation no matter what. Township is kind of looking at how can we do something different, maybe not the Cadillac or the best of the best, but something in between.
I was
and
gonna ask
working-
you that.
And working closer with the residents, which I think is absolutely promising. The road commission process, the residents really don't have a say in what's designed or how it's designed or what they're really looking for. It's just automatically a full rehabilitation. So I think there's some other options out there that maybe are financially a little more friendly and for the residents, so.
I know some of the projects, even some of the big major projects, were done mill and overlay, 2 inches or 3, whatever it is, taken off the top, and then asphalt. Doesn't last as long maybe, but it lasts a long time.
Yeah,
It's
and-
far cheaper.
Yeah, it is part of my position with the road commission when I was there overseeing the SADs. I hosted all the night meetings and everything else, right? And like I told residents, those are Band-Aids. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The road commission does that because it buys them potentially 3 to 5 years to obtain additional funds to be able to go in and, do a full rehabilitation. So, overlays are great. I always refer back to, the road commission did an overlay on Walnut Lake Road in front of West Bloomfield offices. I went through there, and the next morning I went through there and it was already reflective cracking. So if you're not familiar with reflective cracking, no matter what you do to the road, if you don't take it out, if there's a crack in the road or a saw cut in the road or whatever it might be, that is going to reflective crack up through the surface. So when they do overlays, even though they come in and they mill at the curb line and there's cracks or whatever there is, that crack is eventually gonna migrate up. And it doesn't matter if you put 2 inches on it, you put 8 inches on it, whatever it is, that crack is gonna migrate up to the surface and just reappear. So,
Could I please backtrack to the bidding process? And once the bid is let, how long do potential bidders have time? I mean, how long is the process?
So what the
bef-
road commission does is they use Bid Express. Now it's all electronic. So
What's the timing? 1 month or 2 weeks?
It's 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So once it goes on the shelf and is put out to bid, the bid letting is 3 weeks after it goes out for the contractors.
Thank you.
Yep. Mike?
Mark, I sent you a photo Mindy had sent to me, and that was in the new gold section, I believe. Was it gold?
Yep. correct.
And it looked like a whole chunk of asphalt had come out. And we need to get you the address. But is that because of workmanship, or is that weather, or a combination?
Yeah, so I saw the picture. The picture wasn't clear, as you and I discussed, right? If I could get an address, Mindy, that would be great. I did, prior to coming over here, I drove all of gold and I drove all of yellow.
I didn't see you.
And
I'm just kidding.
and I didn't see anything. And I drove it slow, but that's not to say that I missed something. I will tell you what tends to happen is part of the process. It's just not here, you know, it's whenever we do a subdivision. And you have curb and gutter. There's what we call a positive drip. And what happens is the curb faces here, the concrete curb faces here. And when we pave the road, we intentionally pave the road higher than the curb. And the reason that we do that is because then the water flows off and it falls onto the concrete, not down through the joint. It falls onto the concrete, which then gets it in the gutter and takes it to the storm systems, okay? A lot of times when we do that, because there is nothing to hold the asphalt in place, when the roller goes over it, it pushes it out over that edge. And then you have that crack that's there, or the joint that's there between the concrete and the asphalt, and it relieves itself, and then you get pieces of asphalt spread out for, you know, however long it may take before it relieves all those edges. And the reason for a positive drip, that we want the water to fall off onto the curb, is obviously we don't want the water to get down into that joint to the subgrades, even though we tack it. So the bonding agent that we use between the HMA layers, it's like a glue, but it is not designed to be a bonding agent between concrete and asphalt. There is no bonding agent currently that actually will seal that joint that takes place there. So that's why we pave, and spec reads 1/8 to 1/4 inch is what spec reads for a positive drip. So that may be the case, Mike. I can't say until I get an address to look at it. But
And so will you drive around red and blue also and check that? Because I know we're getting close to doing credits back to those homeowners.
yep,
We're
Yes.
getting real close.
yep, I can do that here in the next day or so.
Thank you.
So could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where that came from, but I received several photos, so I just picked one. I mean, not even I just chose one to send it. Your expertise now being here in this building with Mike is a huge value. I think, but really, it is, it's huge. And here's my question. I don't know if I can even articulate that, but it would be great for the residents to understand that you're here and what your value is. And I don't know, Mark, because of the odd relationship between, in Bloomfield Village, leadership of the HOA and the residents don't view, en masse, don't view the leadership of the HOA as resourceful. I'm just saying that's the view. And so I'm not looking for, I mean, I'm happy to share the feedback, but I'm not soliciting feedback. What should I do with more feedback, if there is more?
there's-
Direct them to the
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just worried that if it goes, if it goes to the HOA leadership, if that doesn't go well, it's not a solution, but you are a solution, but I'm also not putting you on the spot to be a solution if that's not.
That is
What you
100% my role, so I
Okay.
attend all of the weekly meetings. I'm the liaison between the township and the road commission.
Okay.
Also, the liaison between the residents and the road commission or the project, so.
Directly.
Directly. So,
Directly. Okay, great.
I actually appreciate it when I hear from the residents so that I can bring their concerns forward, so I can evaluate them, I
Yeah.
should say first.
Yeah, sure.
And then I bring them forward to the road commission and the project engineer, and find remedy with the road commission as to how we can look at, potentially resolving a resident's issue if it's legitimate.
Great, thank you for
Okay.
that.
So, I'm more than happy to share my email, my phone number.
Okay,
So that,
super.
that can be distributed, so.
Great.
Well, if somebody just calls the township and asks for you, would you get the call? Would you
The
get call?
township has my contact information, but I do not have a direct number here
Okay.
at the township.
So they can ask for that contact, and then it'll
Yeah,
be given,
absolutely.
and then
And
they
like I
call.
said,
Okay,
I'm
good.
more than
That's good to
happy
know.
to provide it, so, I can give you my email, get it to Mike or get it to Jeff or whatever, and he can distribute it. We as the township are looking to maybe have a closer relationship with the residents when it comes to the SADs, because I think there's value, and I know the township feels that there's value to have closer communication with the residents in regards to the SADs.
I think that would be terrific.
I want to go back again to that SAD, but you said the township is looking to do the SADs in-house.
They're looking to do some
Okay.
at this point, and Mike can probably speak a little more to that, but at this point, they're guinea pigging some projects to look at what we can do to bring a more financial friendly
See, okay.
scenario to the residents and involve the residents more, right? So, like I said, I was there for 20-some years and, at the road commission. Once the residents met that criteria, they didn't hear back from us until we had a full design done and et cetera, et cetera. And the reason for that is because there really is no options, right? It's a full rehabilitation, so, not every project out there is gonna be able to not participate in a full rehabilitation, but there may be, some projects out there that we can do mill and fills and et cetera, as long as the residents, and we communicate this, and we take feedback from the residents, but we communicate this to the residents that, this is not a 30-year or a 40-year life expectancy, right? So.
But the point, though, is that if the residents are happy and say, okay, you've done some mill and overlay in our subdivision and it looks great, and it lasted for quite a long time, we would be happy to pay a certain amount, much less than a full, but with an SAD through the township to do a mill and overlay over the whole subdivision.
It's part of what we're.
So now we could do that, perhaps.
It's
through
in
the
the
township.
It's in the vision,
Okay,
right?
good. That's good to know.
It's in the conversation, it's part of what we're guinea pigging at this point. Vaughan Lane is our first project. It's actually a gravel pave, so, it's right on the outskirts of Bloomfield Village. They reached out and we did a quick design with that and et cetera, and the township's working through policy things and things of that nature at this point. But, the township is looking to help the residents and potentially make some projects a little more financially friendly.
But the roads are owned by the road commission.
Correct.
So what I guess I'm hearing is the road commission is now showing flexibility
No,
to,
the road commission's not, so.
so how do you work through it? It's their
when it-
roads in the end, so
yeah,
how do you?
When
pick
when an SAD is done,
Yeah.
and this is even if it goes through the town, or the road commission's process, so this was always part of my, night meeting that, went for 2.5 hours explaining the process and what's gonna happen and et cetera, which we're also looking to institute as part of this new, where we're educating the residents up front and then we're moving forward with the project, so everybody has a better understanding of what's gonna take place. With that being said, even with the road commission process, the residents have the right to pull a permit through the permit department, design something, obtain a permit from the road commission, and then build it accordingly. So, it's not
So they don't have,
that,
they don't have a
it's,
strict
even though it's
fee.
their roads, it's, the road commission does not say that you have to go through our process and solely through our process. You have the ability to pull a permit and do, hire your own contractor, et cetera, and then, and that's basically what Bloomfield Township program will look like, is we'll actually obtain a permit from the road commission, and then we'll move forward with the construction and et cetera themselves.
So if I understand what you're saying is if you went through that permit pull process and do it, and the road commission can't come in and veto it, so the efforts, you could proceed, they're not sitting there and at the last minute and say, thanks for all your work, we're just still gonna veto it. This is a way through
Yes,
the
when you
process.
obtain a permit, and I will also say, kudos to the road commission. Gary Petrovich has made a stance that they're not charging permit fees for subdivisions that are going through the permit process. So, hopefully that continues in the future, but, that has historically been the case here in the last couple of years.
I know it raises the next question. So if you go through the alternative, percentage-wise, I mean, how much difference are you talking about? If at the village, it's $50,000 a household.
Well, see,
So
and-
is this like half
Yeah.
that price or a
Yeah,
third?
and I want to kind of be clear,
You gotta be
because
careful, yeah.
the village, it's important to understand that Bloomfield Village is unique as unique comes in the SAD process, okay? Bloomfield Village, there was no alternative but to do a full rehabilitation. And the reason for that is Bloomfield Village had been overlaid so many times that there was actually a curb and gutter there that you could not see, okay? Therefore, the road wasn't draining properly, right? The road commission went through hiring a consultant to run profiles and do a full topo, so that we could design the curb and the grades to get the water to run, so we didn't have bird baths and ponding and everything else like they did with the overlay process. When the township came in and overlaid it, they had no grade control or anything of that nature. And as they kept building overlays and overlays and overlays, all of a sudden the curb and gutter was gone. So I want to be clear that Bloomfield Village, and there's going to be other projects, that there is no alternative option. A full rehabilitation is the only option, right? But there's also projects out there that potentially could benefit from doing something different than a full rehabilitation.
This is just orders of magnitude, and I'm holding you accountable. I'm just trying to get concept. But if they would not go to the full rehab, is that roughly half of what a rehab project would be? I know everyone is.
It's hard to
specific.
say. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say somewhere probably 25 to 50% less
Okay, just
going,
big picture.
going through something of that nature. Again, that's real rough
Oh, no, I'm
guesstimates.
not holding you to it, but I'm just
You know,
orders
it's,
of magnitude.
when people wanted to know what average assessments were at the road commission or what assessments were when I was there, we gave them a range between 12,000 and, $35,000, because every job is actually
Right.
really, really unique to itself, which is what always actually was intriguing to me as a designer in the SAD projects, so.
Last year, we were told that the average cost for rehabilitation in townships in Oakland County was $1 million a mile, and that's an average. Do you have a figure for '26, or
No.
is it too early to?
Yeah, I would say that it would be very hard to put a number on that. And again, it's because of the uniqueness of every subdivision, right? You have open ditch subdivisions, and kind of clarify, we talked about the edge drain, right? Open ditch subdivisions, so we build those and we actually build them in steps. So our subgrade comes out here, and then we step in the aggregate and then we step in the leveling course, and then we step in. So there's actually a tier or ladder effect. And the reason for that is, and everything is crowned, and again, the reason for that is any water gets into the subgrades or through the layers or whatever, it has outlet to the face of the ditches. So we start with just above the bottom of the ditch, and then we build it up, and that's actually how we create the front slope of a ditch in an open ditch. So with that being said, I never put a mile figure on it, because you have jobs that so like Werner Estates, right? Werner Estates has curb and gutter in it. We're doing FDR in the curb and gutter section, and then we have probably 3/4 of it, 5/8 of it, that's open ditch, right? So how do you really relate all of that? And then you got open ditch job, so really we based everything off of what assessments were.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. That was very informative. Nobody else has any questions, so I guess.
Any other?
My other comment.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
My only comment is this is extremely encouraging to see that the township is looking at alternative ways and being creative, and with your expertise and help, I think that's a great message, and Mike, you should be commended for doing that. So
It's our team working on this, and
Yeah.
and with Mark on board, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
It is.
And, we're getting ready now, we're trying to finish up Red and Blue to get the credits back to the community there, and Mark's helped us with it, and Michael, our treasurer, are running the numbers, and the credits coming back, we're not sure, but they're gonna be substantial, far more than what we thought.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you
Have a
so
great
much.
day.
It's very informative. That's great. Yeah, we had talked about this when they did the big stretches of
Thanks,
overlays
Mark. See you, bud.
in Westchester. And I asked, we sat with Noah, said, well, what was the cost? What would it cost to the whole subdivision? We could, that's terrific.
Contact information, I'll email
Yeah.
it to Mike. And Mike
Yeah,
can-
and Sue has it.
I've got it, I'll share it.
Sue has an email and phone number. And then you also saw our email that Haley Stevens has proposed
Yeah.
the tax credits for us, and we'll go to the state as well. I'll take it to the tax committees in approps, both the House and the Senate, and see what kind of response we get. But I don't know how long it could take to get into Washington and what could happen,
Yeah.
and I think that the combined income's a little high on that, but those things are all negotiated.
Sure.
But if she put a $10,000, like our property tax,
Right.
people have to feel this across the country.
Sure.
But on that whole thing that she proposed, I was curious on the dollar cap. If you look at the village, for example, maybe one of our outliers in the big picture, that income problem is not going to help it.
It will
So
not.
if we're trying to do something, what was the reasoning or the rationale on why you had to put an income cap?
Yeah, I can't answer that, but those are things we'll get it. When you propose a bill in the legislature, it goes, everybody's got a comment, everybody wants changes, and they have to find out, A, if it's affordable to the country or to the state, and then they'll start working through those things, because I have found that this really affects seniors, retirees, but also we have first-time homeowners, right? And they're usually working very thin budgets. So those income caps probably will go under the microscope, I suspect.
I think I could see the reason for putting a cap like that on. Politically, you start letting people who, have huge incomes deduct this stuff. You say, they don't need it. It's the low-income people that need it, middle income. I can see why they did it.
If I understand, if I was in a city and that they did the road improvement, say like Birmingham does, can those people deduct that as part of their tax, the full amount?
Say that again, Jeff?
If you're for Birmingham does some street improvements and they pass on some to the,
They do.
and can that person, that's part of his tax bill, so he can deduct the whole amount?
I believe they would, yep. And the same with like the water lines that we did up at
Right.
South Bloomfield Highlands.
See, so I'm looking for consistency and equity.
Right.
And so if I was a city, I wouldn't have this issue. But because, again, I'm the township at the back of the line.
But cities do have this SAD issue as well.
Yeah, but they're allowed to deduct the payment. That's my question.
No, now, they're not.
Even in the cities, they can't.
I don't believe so.
I thought it went
because
through their tax bill just.
It probably would be on the tax bill, but it'd be listed separately.
Oh, it's an SAD.
Yeah, I
Rather-
believe.
rather than just
But
rolling
don't
it
quote
through.
me, you'd have to check with an
I'd be
accountant.
curious to know whether that's, because my impression is on a city, they just roll it all into the Jones tax and go. But I
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
could
when
be
you're
wrong.
capped at $10,000,
But not
with
for
the way
next 4
property
years.
taxes are these days,
Not for the
right?
next 4
And
years.
if you're buying in new, you know, we see these property taxes come in.
Yeah.
And we see people that lived in their house for 50 years. And their property taxes are, say, $2,500 a year. The neighbor who just moved in could be paying.
5,000 a year. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the beauty of Proposal A, isn't it? That if you're in your house for a long time,
I
you
don't know if I'd call it beauty, but.
Well, because you don't have to sell it. Someone who's in there and lives there,
Right.
all of a sudden the value goes up, but they're not selling it.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
value goes up. All of a sudden, my tax bill, I have to move. I can't afford to pay the taxes.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the whole impetus for Proposal A.
Right.
Now, when someone buys a new house, they're told right up front, this is what your taxes are going to be.
Yeah.
Buy it or not. It's your choice.
Curious on
I think you're right. We should find out.
that. The city,
Part of
yeah.
our discussion on township city thing, that could be something to look at too.
Well, yeah, does
We'd
it
like
go-
to know that.
Does it go through as an SAD or does it just go through as a part of the taxes?
Right, that's a good question.
All right, next item, deer management, this subcommittee, I think what we're going to talk about, Mike, if you want to talk
Yeah.
about this, please.
Yeah, sure. Gary's not here, but we had found that the road committee would get going on that subject, and then we tried to shift gears, and it was confusing. And we also had some people who wanted to volunteer to be on the committee, but just talk about deer. And so we got together, and Gary did some homework on it, and really found out that University of Michigan in Ann Arbor has done extensive research on the deer situation, where if they were to come in, and you hire them, they'll come in at night with drones. Sue, do you want to talk about this? You know it a little bit better than I do.
So it's actually part of the Southeast Michigan Urban Deer Coalition. And they're the ones that put together or work together with the University of Michigan. And they had biologists and ecologists, and they did this whole study. And this is that framework that they've developed. So it's like a 30-page document. It's not quite ready to be released, but it talks about what you need to do. And like you had said before, do we really have a deer problem? Well, we think we do, but we have to prove it. So there's a drone study. There is a biologist study. And so they have all of their, and it was interesting how they showed the true damage to the ecology that these deer are doing, these herds are doing, and that there are actually native species that are now gone because of what they're doing. So, but we have to start by actually identifying, do we have a deer problem? So we've started, I met with our grant, Jose Guzman, he does our grant writing. So we're gonna try and find grants to cover the cost, because it's almost roughly $10,000 to do this drone study. So we're gonna try and cover some of the costs of that. But this is what we're looking at.
And can you tell them how that drone study works?
So they actually go through and they'll go through the township, and I guess they focus on areas where there's the heavy accidents. So we feel that there's more of a population there. And they have this, it's amazing the research that they've done. It's taken a couple years. And they'll go through and determine estimate how many deer we have per square mile. Then they go forward with that information. So it's a multiple tiered process to determine. So it's not just, oh, yeah, they're eating your hostas, let's go call. Not at all. It's all kinds of information and data to go through and determine what the correct course of action, and if there even is really a problem. So it's interesting.
Is the drone just doing the body count, or is it assessing damage even?
They can also assess some of the damage. I don't know how it would work from night. I'm trying to get in touch with Brian Farmer to get the information on that drone study, even to get an estimate cost for this grant.
But I believe it's a body count. They
Yeah,
do it
it's
at night.
more of a body count,
Yeah,
but I
by
think
herds.
it's gonna be more boots on the ground to determine the ecology part of it.
Do you need to do both a deer study, with a drone study and a biology study?
I believe that's what this framework
It's a
is
two-step.
suggesting,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the charge for that's 10,000?
We don't, that's what I'm trying to find out. We roughly,
Okay,
it's
that's a lot-
not,
that's
it's
a lot
not
for-
cheap. Yeah, it's not cheap because they come out, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why you had also talked about possibly getting other communities to involve to try and defer the cost as well. But, Yeah, it was very extensive, the research they did. It was really a nice presentation, so.
So what will be our next?
So tell them about the deer committee then, who,
So I think at the meeting last week, Dr. Asarian, Jeff, and Mike and I met, and I think since it's just too much of a distraction, I think, for the road committee, that we've thought about, just decided to maybe make it into a subcommittee. So talking with the township attorney, it is not subject to Open Meetings Act if we have a committee of 4. So there would be 2 staff people. We don't count as part of that committee. So it'd be myself, and there's a police officer that's agreed to help out, Elliot Wilson. But there's an officer that's interested. It would be Dr. Asarian. I believe, John, you agreed to be on that as well, and then Lynn and John Stroud as well. So that would be the committee of 4, and then they would report back to this committee.
Did you say John Schroet?
John Schroet. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I probably pronounced it wrong, I'm sorry, and then Lynn Groth. So then they would obviously do the research and then come back and report to you, and then however it would be handled to take to the Board of Trustees.
So we would be making motions or saying, let's do it, let's not, let's do this or that. and
I'm
we
guessing it would be
hear.
a kind of a cooperative decision once they make their,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good.
especially
in communication
to
with the
spend
sub-
money,
Yeah.
and taking the initiative.
Yeah.
Because it is, I mean, this is an important issue, the roads, but there are so many people that have an issue with the deer as well, and it just felt like, I think it's distracting from both topics. So I think separating it probably makes sense.
But it's encouraging that you have a game plan and a way to do this, and it's going to be done objectively and quantitatively and qualitatively.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
And
that
so it's great
information.
there's a structure and everything, so it gets us out of all this.
Yeah. And they even explained the timeline of how long, and then maybe 5 years down the road, you reevaluate and things like that. So it was, yeah.
I think it's a great way to go. I don't think, I think when you said around 10,000, and you said it's a lot of money, I think it's well worth spending that. Well, we have to see how much it is, of course.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm saying it's not a lot of money.
oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you said. I gotta turn my hearing aids off.
Maybe I'm muddled.
What?
Okay, thanks. So they're gonna, so then, now we'll have separate meeting agenda for that group 4 plus the staff, well, the 4 people, right?
Yeah, they'll have.
And then they'll come
hold their
back to
own
us and
meetings.
report.
Yeah, they'll come back to us, and then in the meantime, there is grant money out there, and that's why we're gonna try and grant it.
Great, that'd be terrific.
Right, as well as we're still talking to the road commission about paying for some SADs, and they're looking at that Verner Estates right now, so we're waiting to hear back of how much they're gonna be able to contribute.
You know, I think it's very important to get that official, get a study or get official use somebody else's, rather than just say, you know, just do it. Last night, we had a subdivision meeting, homeowner association, and there was about 30 people, 20 people there, something like that, and I always refresh what we're doing with roads and with the deer, and just bring it up as a committee report. And they all said, we don't need any studies, just come in my backyard. Well, but it's so unscientific.
Well,
I mean,
everybody's got
it's
a different
anecdotal,
opinion, right?
You know,
Right.
and those who say we don't want to do anything, you have to show them, yeah, here it is. And I think it's very good. I like that. It's
Yeah.
great.
Could I ask a couple questions? Who are the other people that you're putting on this other committee?
It would be John, Dr. Asarian.
Right, and then the other, there's no.
John Stroud, and Lynn Groth. They were the two that
They
were
were
all.
here.
I just asking, I don't remember.
Yeah, he got
Okay.
added
Just,
to this group for a while.
I see, okay.
Yeah, and they weren't interested in talking about roads.
Yeah.
They really just wanted to talk about deer.
So they were like alternates to this.
Are they pro-deer or anti-deer?
Oh, no.
Open-minded.
They didn't offer an
I don't
opinion.
think
Well-
they've,
Yeah.
Okay, all right, guys, I'm going to be asked these questions, that's why I'm asking. If we
Right.
don't know, I'll say we don't know.
No.
We don't know,
No,
okay.
but we're going to take a scientific approach, and we want to hire the U of M. What's his name at U of M, the group, do you recall, Sue?
I
Anyway,
don't recall.
yeah, Dr. Asarian did some great research on this, and the whole thing is going to be done. We'll do the drones, we'll do the boots on the ground. They can come back and tell us what they found, and it'll be actual, real information, not just, I've got 5 running through my backyard. you know?
Anecdotal.
Right.
So does this change so does the mission statement not exist any longer for this group?
No, I think, oh, sorry.
Well, we created 2 mission statements, didn't we?
Well, one for roads, and we create a mission statement for deer.
Right, so does the mission, do we still have a mission statement for the deer? And do you remember this, you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so do we still operate
think
with
we do.
this?
yeah, this is just a subcommittee.
Okay. I'm just asking to report back to people that live in Bloomfield Village.
Yep.
And then the other thing I would say, since I have videos of deer and a lot of positive things coming through my phone, the more that we get ahead of this about what we're doing, how it's being done, who's involved, et cetera, the better it will be ultimately over time.
Okay.
So I would recommend strongly erring on the side of communication and over-communication.
Well, Mike, you do from the supervisor every so often. I don't know how often you do it, but I always get an email with it on there and something.
Supervisor summary.
Yeah, that's it. So could you include that?
Yeah,
more than
so-
Yeah.
both?
Did you catch that?
I'm surprised, but I think that's inappropriate.
I agree with what Mindy is saying,
Yeah.
and I think that that's part of the Deer Resource Committee as well. I think that we can keep updates, or not the committee, the resource page on the website. I think we can constantly put updates on that. I have actually had residents call me wanting to at least be at the meetings that the subcommittee is having. So that's something that I think when we finally meet with the subcommittee to discuss as well, maybe putting those dates on the website, having it at the library or what have you. But I think that once we get this study, we can put something on the website explaining that these are the guidelines we're following. This was the group through University of Michigan then, and who they were, and explain who they are. It was like I want to say it was like an 8 to 10 people panel of biologists, ecologists. I mean, it was a whole bunch of people, master's students, doctors. It was actually a very complete study.
Dr. Asarian shared that with me. We've talked about it more than once. I just want to, the more communication, the better it will cut down on follow-ups, on everything that you're all approached about
Now,
over
Mindy,
time.
if you have people that are calling you and bothering you about this,
Well,
please
I'm
forward.
not complaining. I'm
No,
just
no, but
sharing.
I'm saying forward them to me, because I'm
Okay.
keeping a log of people
Okay.
that have strong opinions on either
Either
side
way,
or
yeah.
neutral.
Yeah.
So have them contact me. You have my contact information. They can email me. Or they're on the Deer Resource page at the bottom. There is a contact thing where they can email their thoughts in, or if they have questions. So yeah, either way, so it can take off your plate.
Do you have a separate communication with the HOA leaders?
No.
Because this isn't gratuitous, what Jeff does, not all HOA leaders do. They don't distill what we do here or what the township's doing as a report out at their board meetings. So communication doesn't happen.
Well, we also have a list of HOAs,
Yeah.
but it's on the HOA to update their officers and contacts.
Okay,
And
well-
we have some that's 5, 6 years old, they're not even the same people.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked to our community relations department
Really do.
and I want Jose, well, we'll talk about it,
Yeah,
to get
that'd
involved
be
more with the
perfect.
HOAs so we can take the messages back from this meeting, other meetings, and meet with the HOAs on a regular basis.
I think it would be helpful.
And can you I know you do a video interview with somebody every time.
Yep.
Can you get somebody from that group, maybe, and
Yeah.
talk about that
Yeah.
on a video?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Whenever it's convenient,
I think we
obviously,
get
have other
Dr.
things.
Asarian on, he's done so much homework on it.
Okay, yeah, whatever, but at least to get a conversation so
Right.
people can see it.
Right. Yeah, but
Great.
the idea to get in the HOAs is
Okay.
where we need to
Well,
go.
I mean, it doesn't.
Because we have like 70 of them,
Right. It's a potential communication loop.
big time.
All right,
Okay.
good. So we got that. So next is Phase 2 documents. I don't know that there's much that has to be discussed on this. We have the list of, I have it here somewhere.
Assignments?
The final list of who's doing what.
Right.
I got it here someplace. I don't know what I did with it.
I had a question on that with regards
Thanks. I know
to,
I have it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, see, that's on this, yes.
Jeff, I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
With regards to item 3, I rewatched the video of our meeting, and it's Dr. Asarian and
I
Fred.
did correct it, I printed off
Okay.
the wrong copy, I'm sorry.
I'm thinking, oh, did I get something?
No,
So-
I printed
Okay,
off the wrong copy, I did add Dr. Asarian into that.
got it.
Well, the one that was added is Jay Shaw you put.
Yeah, but
Instead
I
of-
I added Dr. Asarian in the number 3. because
Got
he
it,
and I have
okay.
been communicating.
Did you add him or replace me?
Number
Oh,
wait,
I didn't replace you.
Because I hadn't,
I don't have money at all. Do you have that?
I hadn't volunteered for that, but if I need
Well,
to
then I'll get rid of you.
be, okay.
Maybe I'll
All
put
right,
the glass
so
on.
For
it's
now.
Dr. Asarian and Fred.
Should be coming up.
Thank you for asking.
So he's on
Which one are you
3?
on, Jeff?
Last one.
Just the last one, okay.
I lost you. Where's Gary on? What number?
3.
Number 3.
Number
Number
3.
three.
Okay, got
I'll
it.
send a corrected one tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so is there any other, I mean, is there any other discussion on who's doing what? We're getting started, and, you know, we're gonna meet tomorrow, and so I hope, you know, we'll get some done, and I got 2 other ones to meet with, so, I hope everybody's starting to at least, make contact and start to get
Try,
this,
yeah.
because by the end of April, I think we
Yes.
said we'd like to have it done, is something like that?
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's still only February. But there's a lot of work to do.
Right.
But this is good. If we can get a lot of it done, and of course, if it doesn't, we have to push it back, it's not the end of the world. I'd like to get this done this spring and have a report to the Board of Trustees and say, here we are, we're done. Well, we're done with this phase. Now it's up to you.
Right.
Okay, anything else on that subject? All right. Then, there's nobody here for public comment, so we can, is anything not on the agenda that anybody wants to bring up, we can put on it for a future? Nothing.
Be
Well, what do
careful
you-
where you're driving, there's potholes popping up.
Yeah, I know. Okay, then I guess that's great. See, now at 45, that's pretty good. Okay, so we need a motion to adjourn, and we're done.
I move.
Support.
Moved and seconded.
Support.
Thank you very much, this was good. We got a lot accomplished today, I like that. Very good, thank you.
Thank you. It's good.
Good speaker, too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting.